Now, I don't often say this, but I think it suffice. This is a film that you must check out. Stop what you're doing, go find the film and watch it. This film is fantastic. And if you've seen the trailer, you probably had suspicion that you think it would be good. And I'm here to tell you that it is. But if you haven't, that means I still got a review to do for you. And without further ado, let's jump into the review of the new film, The Unforgivable. What's up, folks, and welcome back to the channel today for another review. And today we're going to be reviewing the new Netflix film, The Unforgivable, which is dropping on Netflix December 10th. Now, this film has a phenomenal cast. I mean, this is filmmaking at its finest. I mean, all elements of it really comes together. When you talk about the plot, there's drama left and right. The cinematography is amazing. The acting is what you would expect it to be. When you think about the cast, you know they're going to bring their A game, which we'll talk about in a second. The score, all of it really comes together masterfully. And I really like this film. And this is a film that I'm here to say that you must check out. Now, listen. Let's go down the cast here. Your lead, Sandra Bullock. Enough said. Then you have Viola Davis. Then you have John Bernthal. Then you have Vincent D'Onofrio. And that's just a few of the folks that really shine in this film. You know, these are A-list actors here, and you know they're gonna bring it. But everybody in this film really brought it. No matter the limitation of their scene and screen time, everybody brought it. And you know, for me, the biggest thing was well, I can't wait to see Sandra and Viola on screen together. And when they did, oh my goodness, it was fantastic. While they only shared a few scenes together, when they did, it was magical. But Sandra is one of my favorite actors, and her being your lead here, I mean, so good. So good. Which I'll come back to in a second. And another person I want to mention too, Pullen, who plays Steve. He's pretty badass in this film. So, you know, like I said, the cast up and down is phenomenal. And again, just looking at the big names attached to it, you knew that it was going to be good, and they certainly brought it. But Sandra plays Ruth Slater, who's been in prison for 20 years because she killed a cop, and the cop was trying to enter her house because they were trying to serve her an eviction notice. Now, while that sounds kind of like whatever, let me kind of lay the table down a little bit more for her, for you here. So her dad had killed himself, and it was just only her and her sister, which, if anything happens, then she loses her sister. She raised her sister by herself, essentially. So it's almost like her daughter. But nonetheless, they have a really strong bond. And they know that the moment that they get the eviction, then that means that at some point they're going to be separated. She's going to be put into foster care, whatever it may be. So, you know, she said, if you come into this house, I'm going to use this gun I have. And thus she did. And she went to jail for 20 years. And obviously she lost custody of her sister, Katie, who, again, with her being gone for 20 years, that means she's missed the better good of her life. She doesn't know who she is, what she's become, where she's at, any of that, because she's been put into the system. But considering the ramifications of everything here, both Ruth and Katie are both dealing with their own form of trauma that came from this event. Katie in particular is having a lapse of memory, which we find out from when we see her with her foster family. And Ruth herself is just flat out struggling because she's trying to not only, you know, recoup from this incident, but the loss of, you know, her sister, or not being with her sister, obviously because she's killed the cop, and what society and the ramifications of doing 20 years and all that. She's dealing with a lot. And that's part of her journey here, is trying to get back into society. She's trying to rebuild. And no matter what, she's always going to be labeled as a cop killer. Now, beyond that as well, she also has to make do with the truth that is what she's done. So, you know, you're going to have folks who have law enforcement in their family that are going to target her. And then she in particular has to folks that are after her, which happens to be the sons of the cop that was killed. So, she has a target on her back from society. She has a particular personal target from the two kids. And then she's really just beating herself up because she's really struggling to get back into society, but also because she lost her sister. Now, what's really cool is that even though the two of them, the sisters, have not seen each other in 20 years, we kind of still have them. We kind of still see a depiction of them having like a neurological bond and connection, which was really cool, which means we see things happen to one another, but they don't realize why these events may be happening, but they're actually kind of connected because that's just a depiction again of how strong their bond was, even though it's been 20 years. But like I said, she has to come to the terms of the truth of what she's done, the reality behind this, and that no matter what, folks are going to take her as being a cop killer, and she's just going to have to come to do with that in order to rebuild her life and move on. Now, like I said, the two sons of the cop that was killed, they're obviously after her because they're trying to take justice into her own hand, where they feel like it's not fair that she's out and living her life, and that, they think that, she should still be in. And, that's a personal, a really personal vendetta that they're after here. And that journey itself is actually pretty cool to this story as well. And like I said, Pullen, who plays one of the sons, Steve, his story is really cool for him actually being the person that's actually playing judge, jury, and executioner, or trying to play that at least. His story is actually compelling because you kind of sympathize for what he's feeling because he goes through a lot himself. So like, there's so many different worlds all coming together and clashing all at once, and it's really interesting. John Bernthal's character works with Ruth at a job that she picks up once she gets out. Viola Davis' character, she is a wife of they own the property that she used to live in, but not only just that, coincidentally, she's the wife of a lawyer who is the lawyer that tries to help Ruth in getting her sister back. I always want to call her daughter, but it's her sister. So if I said her daughter, I apologize. It's her sister, because and again, you understand that like the reason why I'm feeling like it's her daughter is because she raised her, but yet they have that bond, and because of the big age difference, she was 4 when she was taken into jail. So now 20 years later, that makes her 24. And obviously you can tell significantly the difference of age between the two of them. But I gotta say, the last 20 to 30 minutes of this film is just everything. When the story comes together, the action, the thrills, the suspense, the plot twist, everything, the acting really comes together the last 30 minutes of the film. You're going to be at the edge of your seat, and it's just going to be it's cinema at its best. That's the easiest way I can put it here. And even when the plot unfolds, you're going to kind of leave yourself like, oh man, like it makes so much sense. And I really think that the ending was a banger. I really like how they did this film. And while there is something that you can really nitpick, something really small you can nitpick, I really feel like, in the plot at least, I feel like it still comes together really good. And by the way, I didn't know I was going to get this, but I had to laugh. But the TLC Scrub song, there was a piano cover of that played in this, and I just bust out laughing, and I was like, that's very random, but I'll take it. But folks, as I said in the beginning, this is a film that you must see. Go out your way to check this film out. It's fantastic. For this film to be coming out in December, which December, usually around this time is when we start to see some of the best films of the year, trying to get all the awards that they can. This is one I think people will be talking about. It is really well put together. Big names, big time performances. The writing, the directing, everything really comes together really good. But you still got a job to do, and that's go check it out. And when you're done, come back in the comments. Let me know your thoughts about it. And then, as always, stay tuned for more reviews very soon. Thank you for watching, folks. Big gold bell.